it was super different. Yeah, it was a special moment. Definitely will be remembered, and I'm just, excited to be here.
Yeah, 4 games into your Alabama career, you have like a really signature moment. What was like the next 24 hours like for you after that ball game? Did you hear from a lot of friends, family, Alabama fans?
Yeah, my phone wasn't working for most of the night. It was pretty blown up.
I'll have more in a moment.
Hey, Bama fans, each Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, join us live for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This live streaming talk show features the latest on Alabama athletics with exclusive conversations with Tide student athletes, coaches, and media members giving their perspective on the Crimson Tide. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, and X, with all conversations archived as well on the Alabama Insider podcast. Roll Tide with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
If you missed last night's edition of Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, catch it on demand on the Alabama Insider Podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know it's hot outside, so cool down with an upright or chest freezer in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get an under-counter ice machine with a built-in pump for just $12.99. Or how about a fridge out by the pool or in a garage for extra cold drinks? You can get a scratch and dent 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $3.49 while supplies last. Go to owenappliance.com to learn more. That's owenappliance.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
This is your home for Sparkman football.
Handoff to Lawson up the middle. He's crossing the 30. He's crossing the 20. And in 3 steps, he will cross the goal line as that is a touchdown for your Senators.
The Senator Zone. Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Live here from Full Moon Barbecue. Always great to be here at Full Moon Barbecue. Drew DeArmond filling in for Wes Neighbors here this evening. How are you, Drew?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
Doing very well. We've got a lot to get into.
Better than the refs.
It has been a rough week for the I did reach out to John McDade, and he said he did not have time this week, but he would try to carve out some time next week for us. I've also reached out to Steve Shaw. Well, we try to bring these guys on frequently to discuss the officiating part of things. And someone who's had himself a busy week, including celebrating a birthday on Sunday, is the athletic director at Auburn, as John Cohen is kind enough to join us. A belated happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you all. Appreciate you having me on today.
Absolutely. It's well, before we get into your statement, let's I had an opportunity to talk to Bruce Pearl down at the spring meetings, and I know there was speculation on his political world, but you could tell even I could tell that his basketball days were numbered. And I didn't know if it was going to be this year, next year, whatever the case may be. But I'll just leave the floor to you on what happened earlier this week with Coach Pearl, sir.
Yeah, certainly. He reached out to me on Sunday and let me know that he wanted to walk away. And we had this conversation many, many times. Even as I approached, when I came to Auburn, he told me that this day was going to come and it was going to come fairly soon. And I treasure the time that we got to work together, and we're going to get to still work together. But he just said, I can't give the kids everything they need. And one of the things I mentioned to him is, Bruce, there's a whole lot left on your contract. I mean, there's some large numbers left on your contract here. Are you sure this is what you want to do? You're on top of the mountain of coaching. Are you sure this is what you want to do? And he said, John, all that's great, but I can't give the kids what they need at this point in time. I need to walk away. And I think that, I think that takes courage. And, there are a lot of coaches out there who probably go past an expiration date of when they should be coaching. And that's not the way Bruce was going to go out.
And then the follow-up, at least from what I've heard, you would certainly know better than I would, is that Stephen was getting offers outside of Auburn to take other positions. And but for that transition as well, saw a little bit of that press conference. I believe that was yesterday down in the Plains.
Yeah, we have a great coaching staff, and Stephen's part of that coaching staff. He's our associate head coach. I was in the coaching profession for a long time. We had some options. Do you go outside the Auburn family, and do you bring in someone on the outside and have them bring in their own staff, which is something you can't put on anybody. You cannot tell a new head coach who's going to be on staff and who's not. I can't imagine going to those 8 or 9 guys on Bruce's staff who just won an SEC title in a year where it's the best SEC field there's ever been in basketball and a trip to the Final Four. How do you tell those guys who did an exemplary job? These are Auburn men. They've been together for a long time, and they really exemplify the Auburn creed. How do you walk up to them and say, yeah, we're going to go outside the family and you're all going to need to find a job? I mean, that is something that I could not do. But more than that, the first line of Auburn creed is you get what you deserve in life. These guys deserve this next opportunity. They do. And Stephen's a big part of that. He's our associate head coach. He's our defensive coordinator. Done a remarkable job in recruiting, especially in the portal area. And so there's a big miss here. I mean, we're going to have a big miss for Bruce. We're really going to miss him. But every other part of that staff is still in place, and we're very excited about the future of Auburn basketball.
Yes, Coach Cohen, this is Drew DeArmond. Honored to speak with you, sir. And we want to thank Stephen and Bruce Pearl for recruiting our city here in Huntsville.
That's right.
I work with the staff at Huntsville High, and they recruited Simon Walker, and we greatly appreciate them being around our program and recruiting Simon. We think he has a very bright future. But I wanted to ask you about Bruce's role now outside of coaching. We were blessed here at 97.7 The Zone to have a very good relationship with Coach Pat Dye, and he was kind of Auburn's senator. Now we've heard Bruce kind of talk about being Auburn senator. What is his role going to be going forward with the university?
Well, Bruce is going to do a number of things. He's going to help us with fundraising. He is going to be an ambassador. He is going to have numerous speaking engagements. And he's going to be somebody that I'm personally going to rely on. He's part of 5 decades of college basketball, but more than that, he understands the relationships that coaches have with their student athletes. He understands the modern era. He understands name, image, and likeness. He's a really bright guy, and he deserves to go out the way he wants to. This is the way he wanted to go out, but we're still gonna. There's still going to be a lot of opportunities for Bruce Pearl to make a difference here at Auburn, and we know he will.
Finally, at least on the basketball side of things, Coach, is that lack of head coaching experience. And I know I'm not the first one to at least address this with you. I would hope that I'm not the first, more than anything. Was there any pause to that fact of the lack of being a head coach in Stevens' resume?
Yeah, you got to balance it. You look at Todd Golden, who I think is one of the elite coaches in the country. I have a relationship with Todd. I got to know him when I was at Mississippi State. Todd's a brilliant coach, but Todd hadn't been part of 2 Final Fours before he got to Florida. So
yeah.
I have a coach who's been a part of 2 Final Fours. He's been part of 5 championships in the last 8 years. I've got a coach here who won SEC titles in college in the Southeastern Conference as a player and as a coach. So when you add up the entire resume, yes, specifically he has not been a head coach, but he's been around a Hall of Fame coach for a long time, and I don't know anything that he has not experienced outside of checking the box of sitting in the last seat on the bench.
Very well
first
put.
Seat on the bench. How about that?
Yeah. That's it's very well put, and it's at least being around that program from a distance, and then having the opportunity to broadcast a couple of games down there while Coach Pearl was what he did down there is truly amazing. And I know that was a difficult day, and albeit he called you on your birthday, you said he called you on Sunday, so I'm sure that'll be a day to remember there for you moving forward. But
for many reasons,
also a day that I'm sure that will stick with you as well as a lot of Auburn fans is Saturday, and listen, we've had kind of, I'll just say, knockdown dragouts with John McDade of just trying to, because I know the goal is to get it right. And with the way that video replay is in today's world, it feels like it's not being utilized how it could and maybe, in my opinion, should be.
Yeah, I listen. John McDade has a tremendous knowledge of officiating. He's an extremely bright guy, and I consider John to not only be an expert in his field, but somebody that I have a longstanding relationship with, and really trust his judgment. We have to agree to disagree on occasion, and this is probably one of those times, although we both agree, with the statement that the Southeastern Conference made, that we were, I hate to even use the word victim, because that's not even a fair word based on what's happening in our world right now. But we felt like we had a great opportunity to win a football game, and part of that opportunity was taken away from us. So, if you do this long enough, things like this are going to happen. But I do say this: if we have video technology and we have the opportunity to review every part of the game, let's just review every part of the game, not just certain plays. I mean, let's review face mask, which currently isn't reviewable. Let's review unsportsmanlike conduct. Let's just review it. And if the game takes 20 or 30 minutes longer, so be it. Let's get it right. There's a lot at stake here. I think we can all agree to that. And we need to get it right. And if I was an official, which I'm not, it's an incredibly difficult job, but if I was an official, I would take great solace in the fact that if a mistake was made, it could be clarified, it could be cleared up through a review. And I think it helps officials, not hurts them. So I would love to see several things added to the list of opportunities for review.
Well, and I know it's one sport to another, but we just saw Major League Baseball adopt the challenge as well. And I wouldn't be opposed to something along those lines as well coming to college football.
Agreed. And you know what's great about that? It adds to the strategy of the game. If you get two challenges, then it's on the coach. If he didn't have any challenges left, he used them all up. He made that decision. It's it's part of the drama of the game. But we've got to have the opportunity, in my opinion, and this isn't an SEC thing. This is a college football thing. We have to have the ability to review everything, not just the select. And I just don't think length of game is an issue. You play once a week. There's two, in many cases, you have 2 off weeks. Football's an event. And if it takes a little longer, it takes a little longer. Listen, guys, I don't know about you, but I've been doing this a long time. Rarely have I heard anybody say, boy, these football games take too long.
Well,
now, people have said that about baseball, which I'm well aware of. People have said that about, other sports, but they don't say that about football. I think let's make sure we get it right.
Well, Coach Cohen, I'll say this too, and I've been saying it. I wish they'd also figure out what targeting is and isn't.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, what I want them to do though, I don't like them suspending players for a half.
Yeah.
I think it should be a 15-yard penalty and move on. I don't think it's fair to the teams to eject a kid and have him miss the half of the next game. That's my opinion, Coach.
Yeah, and you're making a great point. But what's really difficult in that sport on that play is it's extremely difficult to identify intent. Because in my opinion, if there's intent for harm, for damage, to knock somebody out of the game, to launch yourself head first, I think they do deserve to sit out a half. But there's such a fine line, especially when the offensive player gets lower and lower and lower center of gravity, and they drop their head lower and lower and lower. You're putting the defense at a real disadvantage. It's tough. Hey, officiating is incredibly difficult. I will own that. But again, let's give these officials all the tools, all the cameras, all the reviews that we need to make sure we get it right.
That's very well put, and because ultimately, that the fans, everybody wants to see the game being called the right way, and ultimately, we're not talking about stuff that happens with some missed calls, quite frankly, and even a couple of pass interference calls that, anyway, I'm sure you probably heard about as well down there.
There's no question. I mean, there is no question. And listen, the athletes at this level, they're getting bigger, stronger, and faster every year. Every year. And it becomes more and more and more difficult to officiate them. And quite frankly, we know that the numbers of officials out there is dwindling. Of the amount of people who want to get in front of this type of scrutiny. I mean, that number is shrinking. So I don't envy the job that John McDade has, nor the commissioner. They have extremely difficult jobs. But if that's even more reason to use any tool necessary to get it right, if the numbers out there are starting to go down of available officials.
So I know I haven't also talked to you as well since the adoption of 9 conference games, and the schedule just came out as well, the whole schedule for 26, 27, 28, 29. But the adoption of that 9th game, it feels like this is once again the commissioner, as well as all the athletic directors, as well as all the universities, more or less trusting the CFP to do what they're going to say they're going to do before we can even see one cycle of this, Coach.
Agreed. Yeah, if we're going to play 9 football games, hey, listen, I'm just going to make it really simple for you guys. I'm a very simple-minded guy. I believe 14 of the 16 basketball teams in our league made it to the NCAA tournament. That's reflective of how good the league was this year. I think in baseball, 13 of 16. In softball, almost, I think 4 out of the last 6 years, every school in the league got into the NCAA tournament. It's embarrassing to say that we had 3 football teams in the CFP last year. It's really close to being ridiculous. We need to have a better pathway to showcase the amount of teams that's appropriate in our league who deserve postseason opportunities. And I think I'm going to speak to last year. Yes, I think Ole Miss. I think South Carolina. I think Alabama. Just to name three, those schools should have had the opportunity to be in the CFP, but they were restricted by a number. And we've got to get to a number that recognizes how good our league is. And I know Greg Sankey is fighting for this. It's critically important. There is nothing in the world more exciting than a playoff format at the college level, whether it's basketball or baseball or softball or women's basketball, whatever it is. Everybody knows that this playoff type format is incredibly exciting because everybody has this great opportunity, and number 16 can beat number 1. It's possible.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're only allowing a very few amount of teams in it, it's just not reflective in 2025 of how good our league really is.
I'm just one person, but I would imagine there's a lot of nervous folks. I'm at least voicing it out loud that I don't know what we're going to see in December. Heck, I don't know what I'm not really in all that much favor of that week-to-week show that comes out on ESPN. I understand why it's there and how much it maybe helps, I guess, revenue for ESPN, I'm guessing. But even that week-to-week show, I like how basketball does it, where it shows you in February, hey, we're looking at these 16 teams. That there's way more transparency, at least what I see in basketball compared to football.
Yeah, agreed. And again, there's a human element. We were just talking about officiating. You know, when you go in that room, and I've been on a selection committee before, there's a human element to this. There is opinion. There is subjective discussion. And I if you get to a bigger number, you're going to have less opportunities to leave somebody out who is very deserving. And it can be done. And I think there are a lot of naysayers out there that say it can't be done. It can absolutely be done for us to get to a bigger number.
Auburn's 3 teams specifically back to that. Of course, Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt as well. But, I mean, that's considering how Vanderbilt's playing this year, Coach, that's wow. That's a 1-2-3 punch right there.
Yeah, I'm just I am going to give a standing ovation to the minute Pavia is no longer part of our league. He is a special player, and what he has done at Vanderbilt has just been incredible. What he's done his entire career. He's a great story for Vanderbilt for sure. But yeah, you know, Georgia, Alabama, and listen, that's a daunting task to play those schools, but that's what we want here at Auburn. We want to compete against the best. We want to give our fan base every opportunity to see the best competition they can possibly see and bring these schools to Jordan-Hare. Of course, the Georgia-Auburn rivalry is one of the longest running rivalries in the entire country. In fact, I think it is the longest running in the Deep South. So
that's right.
It's I think that part is good. Do I think it's balanced around the league? No, but you know, what you cannot argue is that everybody plays everybody over a 2-year period, and everybody plays everybody home and home over a 4-year period. Yeah. That's pretty good balance over a 4-year period.
Finally, for me, talking to John Cohen, the Auburn athletic director, Ross Dellinger tweeted this out an hour ago, and I feel compelled just to, because the SCORE Act I know has been on all of y'all's radar, but Dellinger tweeted out an hour ago that the Congressional Black Caucus has reached an agreement with the Republicans on an amendment portions of the SCORE Act, a good sign, and at least according to the commissioner, quote, we're at the table. So it feels like this is a big step right here.
I agree. And I listen, both sides, you know, the polarization, of politics in our country is at an all-time high right now, but we need both. We need all of these groups to come together because we need help. And there's no question about this. Every single standard rule or policy that we're trying to create for college athletics ends up in a lawsuit. And we have to have a centralized group that oversees college athletics without the fear of constant lawsuit. We have to have that. I know that all of you, I mean, we just had a judge rule in favor of extra eligibility, for earning potential. Logically, I understand, at least I think I understand the antitrust implications there, and I see both sides of that issue. But I also see 30-plus-year-old men and women playing college sports, and that's not what I think it was designed to do. So we need, again, some group, the CSC, to oversee college athletics and be able to hold everyone accountable to a certain standard without the fear of a lawsuit. And the SCORE Act would allow that to happen.
So here's hoping that maybe something can happen here this fall, more than anything. But other than that, what else is going down on there on the plains? I mean,
well, this is why we do what we do. It's been a really entertaining week, and it's funny. A media member just asked me. He said, "John, you released this on Thursday, your statement. Why didn't you release it earlier in the week?" And I said, I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the Hall of Fame coach. Tell me he's going to walk away, maybe. He said, well, what about after that? Well, we kind of wanted some attention to be focused on our new basketball coach for a little bit.
Yep.
So there's always a reason for everything. But, it's an exciting time on the plains. We're at Texas A&M this weekend, another incredibly difficult place to play, as was Oklahoma last weekend. But this is why you play the games. You play to have a great plan, and this league is what it is, and we're going to keep preparing and keep competing our hearts out. And I'm hoping we can just get a break somewhere. We played well enough to win a football game last Saturday in Norman, Oklahoma. We played more than well enough to win a football game, and it didn't go our way in more ways than one. Hugh Freeze and his team needs to get a break, and I'm looking forward to that actually happening.
Well, again, belated happy birthday to you. And are you heading to College Station Saturday?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't miss a football game, so I will definitely be there.
Outstanding. Well, safe travels to you, sir, and appreciate the availability here this evening, sir.
Yes, thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Appreciate the invitation, and War Eagle.
Absolutely. That is the athletic director at Auburn University, John Cohen. And, he's had a little bit of a week.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, congrats to Stephen Pearl yet again. And, I think he earned this opportunity. And I've said this on Talking Ball. I've said this on some other shows. This has worked before. I got 2 words, Wimp Sanderson. He replaced C.M. Newton, and it was seamless.
Yeah.
So I know they weren't related, and this is different. Yeah. And I understand Sean Sutton and Eddie Sutton didn't work. It's not, but it's working so far for Duke. John Shire replacing Coach K. And I still think it's got a great chance to work. Hubert Davis from Roy Williams. Just got to be a little patient. Dan Monson and then Mark Few. This has worked before, where you hand it off to someone and they're ready to roll. And of course I'm a little biased. I've met Stephen Pearl. I like him a lot. Been around Auburn's team camp quite a bit. Been around in Atlanta and the NCAA showcases, and he's been recruiting. And I remember when he played for his dad at Tennessee and was a good role player. And I know he took some years off of coaching when his father was going through what he was going through, but he came back and I think he's grinded for it. And they do have a very tight knit coaching staff that I agree with Coach Cohen that has earned this opportunity. And again, I think as I said this on Talking Ball, and I mean this, Bruce Pearl's hire was probably the most important one in the history of the state, basketball wise, because he did something at Auburn. No disrespect to Sonny Smith, who I love. We love Coach Smith.
Yeah, we all do.
Cliff Ellis had some really good years, but Bruce Pearl did something like, Jason Caldwell said, if you had told me that Auburn was going to make one Final Four, I would have been stunned. And again, they smartly built the arena before they got, and I think it helped get Bruce Pearl.
It did.
They did that. Just like when Mal Moore upgraded the facilities and it got Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
But you got the right coach who ignited it, and he did things that we never thought possible. And then it forced Alabama to have to make a move with Avery Johnson when it was obvious that had run its course.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alabama hires Nate Oates. And who would have ever thought, not, as much as I love basketball, Steve, you love basketball, never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought Alabama-Auburn basketball would trump Duke Carolina.
Yeah.
But it did.
Yeah.
It really did.
We had a 1-1 matchup last year.
Yeah, and those two games were outstanding. Auburn played very well in Tuscaloosa, and then we had the instant classic
Alabama
with Mark Sears.
Yeah.
That was a very high-level game.
Yeah.
And I think Carolina's going to resurge because, again, it's too important, okay, for Carolina to be good in basketball.
Yeah.
So I'm not there. That rivalry is probably always going to be number one in college basketball. But guess what? Alabama-Auburn can punch with anyone. And now that in-state basketball rivalry is huge. And this is always going to be a football state, but basketball is really, really starting to assert itself. And it's fun. And it's fun. It's been fun to see Bruce Pearl stay at Auburn because he could have left, okay? We all know that, especially when he went to the first Final Four.
Yep.
He stayed. He got his son this opportunity. Nate Oates has had multiple chances to leave, and he has stayed. And so both universities are committed to basketball, and then it's starting to trickle down to the other colleges.
It is
because you look at Bucky McMillan, what he did. He goes to Texas A&M. They go hire Lenny Acuff, amazing hire by Sanford. Scott Cross. I can tell you at Troy, he's done a good job. We talked with Tony Pujol earlier this year. He's done amazing things. Just got a 5-year contract. The college basketball, UAH, what Mick is doing, and then what Dante Jackson hopefully can do at Alabama A&M. We talked to Van Pettaway this week when we were talking about prostate cancer awareness, but he also talked about that. And they have that beautiful arena now at Alabama A&M. Basketball has never been more healthy in our state than it is now, especially collegiately.
Yeah, heck, Coach Harper at Jacksonville State.
Ray Harper at Jack State. He's done great things.
Yeah.
And Richie Riley at South Alabama, he's doing good stuff. So I'm just telling you, man, it has never been healthier than it is now. And, hopefully it's going to continue to rise. And these universities are going to continue to commit to things and be good. Because, I've always loved basketball. I still say it's always going to be the hub in the state in North Alabama, but still, it's great to see it grow everywhere. And it's great to see what Christian Swears is doing at Huntsville High, putting together this Hoops Giving event that's going to be near Thanksgiving, bringing schools from all over the United States to come in and play, especially from the state of Georgia. But still, it's great, and it's a showcase. Luther Tiggs has done good things with the Into Hoops. The Huntsville City Classic is still stronger than ever. It's just great and then, as Coach Pettaway said, it's great to have the Mayor's Cup back.
Yeah.
Because he and Lenny had a really good relationship and they played.
That was so cool to be a part of back in the day.
Yeah.
And
it's back.
Yeah. And by the way, there's some guy named Ant down in Montevallo.
Yeah. Don't forget Anthony Camara.
Yeah.
He's done remarkable things.
He's got a lot coming back this year.
He's done a remarkable job resuscitating the program that was really strong in a national championship game under Danny Young at one time.
Yep.
But, Coach Ant, he's done a great job recruiting, getting players.
It's all across the state. It really is.
I think he got into a regional last year. Ant did. He's really close to having that program.
A lot of that team is back.
Where UAH and Montevallo, and due to the fact that Ant, so much of his career was at UAH and growing, but it's going to be a huge rivalry again because of what he's done and what he's built.
Coming up in 30 minutes over on Talk Radio, WZZN, our coverage of Army Black Knight football will take over the airwaves on Talk Radio, WZZN, as they are getting ready to take on the Pirates of East Carolina. So that'll be over on Talk Radio, WZZN. We will have
Don't forget, true freshman Jordan Miles for East Carolina. defensive end, Jack,
I forgot
outside
about
linebacker, freshman from Grissom. He's getting playing time. Daryl Miles, I've known him for a long time. Great dude. And his son, Jordan, or a.k.a. Jordy, he's got a chance to be good, and he's making an impact.
We have got the Seahawks and Cardinals for you coming up tonight, beginning at 6:30, when Westwood One will take over our airwaves. We were supposed to have Wes Neighbors on about maybe 8 minutes ago, but I'll tell you, I can already hear it now. If I don't take his phone call, I'll get another tongue lashing from LSU Lynch. So let's squeeze in that phone call before we take our first break, and then we'll bring in Wes. The floor is yours, sir, LSU Lynch.
Oh, Lord. Is that Drew sitting next to you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. I apologize. I didn't realize that was you circling downtown when we were over at Seesaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wes was yelling. I just didn't know it was LSU Lynch. I apologize. We've never met face to face to my knowledge.
Look here. How is Ass Crack doing? Does he
Oh, hey, that's a
He's
good
checked
one.
it. He's calling in later.
Okay.
He's squeezing us in between two other stations.
Yeah, praise
Drew,
Allah.
I'll tell you what, Drew, between me and you, we got enough red flags over the years. We still float.
Here we go. Just tell the truth. You know, you're not going to be everybody's friend.
How in the world are you guys the underdog in Oxford, Mississippi?
I mean, we got Jake Crane on today picking Ole Miss, and I got Wally Pipp, replacing, Austin Simmons for good.
You like Trinidad, huh?
Yeah.
Did we lose you?
Yeah, you know he's gone, right?
Okay.
Oh, okay, my bad. And we didn't realize
because it's time for a break.
Absolutely.
Let's
sorry, LSU Lynch. We didn't mean to lose you there, bud.
Let's take our first time out here live from Full Moon Barbecue. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton